Hvaldimir, a celebrated spy whale, is found dead in Norway. Hvaldimir, a beluga whale who had captured the public's imagination since 2019 after he was spotted wearing a harness seemingly designed for a camera, was found dead on Saturday in Norway. According to a non-profit that worked to protect the whale, Sebastian Strand, the founder of the non-profit, Marine Mind, said that he saw the dead whale floating near Risavika in southwestern Norway on Saturday afternoon. Its cause of death was not immediately clear. He said, "There were markings around the whale that could have been made by birds or other marine animals. It's heartbreaking," Mr. Strand said. "He's touched thousands of people's hearts just here in Norway." Mr. Strand added that he was working to send Hvaldimir to a facility where the carcass could be preserved long enough to try to determine a cause of death. By some estimates, the whale was close to 14 feet long and about 2,700 pounds. Hvaldimir, whose name is a combination of Hval, the Norwegian word for whale, and the name Vladimir, was spotted in northern Norway in 2019. At first alarming fishermen. Belugas tend to move in groups and typically inhabit remote Arctic areas. Adding to the intrigue around Hvaldimir, he was wearing a harness that identified it as equipment from St. Petersburg. There also appeared to be a camera mount. Some wondered if the whale was on a Russian reconnaissance mission. Russia has never claimed ownership of the whale. If Hvaldimir was a spy, he was an exceptionally friendly one. The whale showed signs of domestication and was comfortable around people. He remained in busier waters than are typical for belugas, prompting concerns. https www.nytimes.com/2023/06/05/world/europe/russia-spy-whale.html. From scientists, activists and experts. He was completely acclimatized to human culture, Mr. Strand said, adding that it appeared Hvaldimir had been in captivity for a lot of his life. Mr. Strand and his team worked to educate curious residents and tourists about the whale, to protect it as much as possible as it remained outside of its usual habitat. Last year, Hvaldimir was seen off the coast of Sweden. https www.nytimes.com/2024/01/14/magazine/hvaldimir-whale.html. A southward journey that took him farther away from food sources and on a path toward more industrial and dangerous harbors. Mr. Strand said that he had been promoting safety measures for Hvaldimir, who had so far enjoyed a calm year, and had seemed to be in good health on Friday based on reports. I'm not sure what's happened, Mr. Strand said, but we'll find out. This is the beluga whale that played catch with a football and returned someone's dropped phone. Putin just can't be stopped. Yet another former spy found dead under mysterious circumstances. First it's spy whales. Next it will be sharks with frickin' laser beams attached to their heads. Poor whale. I doubt he signed up for this sad face. Hope he swims wild and free in whale heaven. Man arrested in fatal shooting of title-winning college gymnast in Wisconsin. This is like the third female college student in the past week. 6 days ago at Rice. That one also had some type of relationship with the killer. Greater than 23-year-old man who knew the victim. That's all he's identified as so far. I'm sure other details will emerge later. Greater than in an earlier statement, the police department said a 23-year-old man was present when officers responded to a report of a gunshot victim Friday. A woman, later identified as Welsh, had been shot multiple times and was dead when officers arrived. Police said. Through investigation, it was determined that leading up to the shooting, an altercation had occurred between the two, police said. Congress should do something about this gun epidemic. Weak, insecure men are exactly who shouldn't own guns. Why won't they show the picture of the man or release his name? He is 23. She's lost everything and her name's plastered everywhere, yet they're protecting POS identity? The largest dam removal project in the U.S. is completed, a major win for indigenous tribes. The Yurok tribe in Northern California are known as the salmon people. To them, the salmon are sacred species that are central to their culture, diet and ceremonies. As the story goes, the spirit that created the salmon also created humans, and without the fish, they would cease to exist. Both the salmon and the indigenous tribes have been liberated by the removal of the largest dam on the Klamath River. Now they can flourish once again. I can't wait to compare this on Google Maps in a few years. This is such a significant win. Many of us have been fighting 30+ years for the Klamath to become free-flowing. Now other watersheds are following suit. The eel was recently announced as being slated for dam removal, among others. What isn't stated here is that it's not just fish. It's the entire riparian ecosystem that is winning when things like this happen. It helps beavers to wolves to endangered species so rare few people have ever seen them, like big-eared bats. Also, recreational paddlers from whitewater enthusiasts to driftboaters are thrilled to finally let the river be. All humans should see this as a win, regardless if they are lucky enough to be part of the Yurok tribe. Lastly, we should all feel indebted to their efforts. If the Yurok had not fought to stay on their ancestral homelands in the first place, then the Yurok would not have been well placed to see this through. The battle began long before the first dam was ever erected. We flew over Iron Gate a couple days ago. It was incredible, honestly. The old water line from the reservoir is still there, but the river was solid for the path it now takes. I read a novel about early efforts towards this once that I cannot remember the title of. I picked it up at the little bookstore in Klamath, CA, just after walking over the bridge over the Klamath River through hiking Redwood National State Parks. It was about a government worker getting to know a native guy while they were working on getting the movement to undam the river going. The native guy might have been Yurok or could have been Hoopa, I can't remember. And the government worker might have worked for CDFW or another agency. They met when one of them was taking a piss on the side of the road. I let someone borrow it years ago and never got it back. Always wanted to read it again. There's a scene where the native guy says something like, "See, both of our peoples have been conquered. But the difference is yours were conquered so long ago they don't even remember it." I have never found the title of this book. May have been locally or regionally published. This dam in particular wasn't just about producing hydropower. They were poisoning the river. The reservoirs here were regularly getting huge overproductions of poisonous algae due to holding on to hot water because the California droughts. This was causing the river to become clogged with algae also. So not only were the dams not producing power, the river was also dead during those times. You could even see the river turn bright green, almost all the way to the ocean. On satellite, AfD becomes first far-right party to win German state election since 1945, CNN. Since 33. Why are they saying 45 as if there were elections from 33 to 45? Greater than the alternative for Germany. AfD has become the first far-right party to win a state election in Germany since the Nazi era. Greater than the issue of immigration became more salient, and the AfD more popular, after then-Chancellor Merkel allowed into the country more than 1 million refugees in 2015. mostly those fleeing civil war in Syria, greater than just days before the state elections. A Syrian man stabbed 3 people to death and wounded several others at a festival in the western Germany city of Solingen, at the campaign in Erfurt. Kevin Flerschitz, a 21-year-old public transport engineer who recently joined the youth wing at the AfD, told CNN that immigration had become his foremost concern. "Hardly anyone dares to go out anymore. To be honest, I find that sad," said Flerschitz, wearing a t-shirt emblazoned with "White Boy Summer. Good luck Germany. Hopefully things don't spiral out of control." Roughly every 80 years, the people with first-hand experience and memory of an era dies off and we start all over. Since 1945, pretty sure elections in Germany ended prior to 1939. As a German, this makes me so sad and worried at the same time. Shit is going to be fucked, and now we'll have to see how well our constitution protects us from everything. This state is located in East Germany. You would think you will hate authoritarian governance more fiercely after you suffered from such a rule. The reality is almost always to the opposite. Of course, they don't read it this way at all. It is similar in US. As far as I know, not a scientific survey, immigrants from countries like China or Cuba actually embrace Trump's strong man and tough on crime image more than general population, and dismiss his remarks like newspaper is the enemy of people largely. At the same time, this group of people usually express strong loathe toward China and Cuba's rulers. Grief and fury on Israel's streets as hostage killings pile pressure on Netanyahu to secure ceasefire deal. I can't believe Netanyahu has managed to stay in power. Regardless of how this whole rotten ordeal concludes, Netanyahu must absolutely be removed from power, be it voluntarily stepping down or being impeached. He is an unscrupulous megalomaniac who has only made the situation worse than it ever needed to be, for Palestinians and Israelis alike. I have been following Israeli-Palestine politics for quite a while now, and I have never seen the scale and degree of demonstrations displayed across Israel yesterday. I do not see how Netanyahu and his government can feasibly avoid any more ceasefire deals, because it's seeming to grow to shut down the country sizes. It looks like Bibi will sacrifice other people's lives to keep the conflict going, to keep himself out of jail. It's so fucking obvious that the hostages would be killed under this circumstance. They are a bargaining piece for a ceasefire. Once they cannot be used for that, then they are useless. And further to that, Hamas needs to ensure that Israel understands hostages are a bargaining chip only. I'm not making a moral judgment here. It's just the way this shit works. Yet on the thread I posted on about this topic yesterday, anyone doing anything but squarely blaming Hamas and implying anyone else might have some responsibility was being shouted down. At least some people in Israel can see what the fuck is going on with this. Ain't Bibi part of the reason why Hamas is in power?